How's it going, you guys? So in this video, I just want to discuss just a little bit. My iPhone will only record about 10 minutes of video. I want to discuss this whole idea that animal foods cause inflammation. So check this out, okay? First of all the studies that are done on animal products causing any kind of disease, really, the vast majority of them, pretty much all of them, are done on populations or using food questionnaires, observational trials, which are extremely unreliable for determining causation. Number one, they cannot prove causation. They can only draw correlations. And number two, they can control for things like smoking, alcohol, and how much you exercise, but contrary to popular beliefs amongst dogmatic vegans who don't actually read their studies, the fact is these population studies and observational trials do not control for the amount of grains that these people eat, the amount of sugar, the amount of vegetable oils and hydrogenated oils, and they don't ask these people, especially population studies, they're done on big populations, they don't have any way of controlling for what form they're eating these animal products in. So let's say a bunch of people eat a lot of dairy, right? They eat a shit ton of dairy. Okay, are they eating dairy in the form of ice cream? Because that's the vast majority of where people are getting their dairy from, ice cream. And then red meat, people eat red meat in the form of hamburgers with french fries and sodas, and these are extremely harmful to the body. So these people who fucking claim that animal products cause inflammation and blah blah blah, and they're getting their shit from population studies, that's not evidence. That's not evidence that red meat causes disease. That's evidence that people who tend to eat unhealthier foods and care less about health have more disease. Whoop-de-doo. But anyway, here's the thing. So, and the mechanistic data on inflammation is extremely weak. They talk about TMAOI or whatever. But the fact is, fruits and vegetables happen to supply the largest amount of endogenous. They actually create TMAOI inside of the body. Whereas red meat, if you overcook it, or if you overcook vegetables, it can supply exogenous TMAOI. But inside the body, what the body does with that is questionable. Also, there's been reported benefits of this TMAOI. So anyway, long story short, also the methionine link is a half-truth. Methionine actually converts inside the body into homocysteine, and homocysteine converts into glutathione. And glutathione is the body's master endogenous antioxidant, which is more powerful than vitamin C. In fact, vitamin C is only supposed to enhance the effects of the body's glutathione. Best way to increase your body's glutathione, its master endogenous antioxidant, is by consuming eggs with the egg yolk, because it contains choline, it contains glycine, it contains cysteine, and all the amino acids and the B6 and the choline that are required for promoting glutathione production in the body and converting homocysteine into glutathione. Okay, so when you hear people like Vegan Gains talking about eggs increasing homocysteine, yeah, that's only a precursor to one of the most powerful antioxidants inside of the human body. Okay? Beyond that, you see all these people who eat a carnivore diet who are reversing inflammatory conditions. Okay? Arthritis, psoriasis, and the list goes on. Chronic pain syndromes, fibromyalgia, which is usually just a gluten intolerance, by the way, or a peanut allergy. How the fuck do animal products cause inflammation if people who eat nothing but animal protein are reversing inflammatory conditions in their body? How the fuck can that be possible? Okay? And then I tell these people, I make these vegans aware of this, and what do they tell me? They say, oh, it's anecdotes, okay, compared to the population studies that we reference constantly and the half-truth, weak mechanistic data that I haven't actually read and don't care to read because I just want to believe that animal products are bad for me. According to that, that's more scientific. It's more accurate, and therefore animal products suck. So until you can show me population studies that prove, that show evidence that animal products are good for you, I'm not listening to you. Yeah, well, Hong Kong has the greatest life expectancy right now, and they also eat the greatest amount of red meat per capita. Yeah, but they have greater health care, though. Like, they come up with all these fucking excuses. Hundreds and hundreds of people, in fact, it's probably thousands now, have been reversing inflammatory conditions, eating nothing but animal products. But somehow animal products cause inflammation. Does that sound right? That doesn't sound right. But they're anecdotes, though. They're lying. You can never tell anecdotes. I'd rather listen to population data because Dr. Michael Greger said so. He referenced all these studies I haven't read. I don't even know why. I think population studies are credible, and I don't even know why population data is not actually. Is not actually credible. It's not actually a good guidance towards what you should do with your health. It's crazy that people think that population data and observational trials are more reliable than people's firsthand experience. And this is not just, a couple of exceptions. This is the norm. The norm is for people to reverse all their inflammatory conditions eating nothing but meat, especially red meat, and animal products in general. Okay? Seriously. This is crazy, okay? So if vegans were not dogmatic in this way, and they actually gave credit where credit is due, and they could admit these very strong inconsistencies, then at least I know I would not really be dogging on vegan dogma so much because I don't have anything against people for their food choices. If you're vegan, I don't have anything against you. What I dislike strongly is delusional people who pretend to know what they're talking about when they actually are very ignorant. People who pretend to have all the facts when they're actually leaving a whole lot out, when they actually haven't, when people try to debunk things that they have not actually studied. Okay? If you haven't actually, so there's at least 300 detailed, deep interviews with ex-vegans on YouTube alone. Then there's a World Carnivore Tribe on Facebook, which has hundreds and hundreds of real people who are coming out every single day, who have just heard of the carnivore diet and tried it out, and miraculously healed all sorts of conditions. And they're coming out, and you can actually click on their Facebook profile, and you can see pictures and their whole life story, because they're real fucking people. That's important. I know that sounds creepy. That's important. You can actually see that these are not fake stories. These are not just bots or people creating accounts to lie. These are real fucking people. Then you have the Zero Carb Reddit, where people talk about this. Then there's another one called Zeroing In on Health, the forum. Okay? For you all to disregard all these people who are reversing inflammatory conditions on a carnivore diet is foolish, okay? And again, I'm not saying carnivore is the best, the best diet in the world. What I'm trying to say is animal products are clearly not the cause of diseases like all these fucking vegans are saying. And if you believe that, I cannot think of you as an intellectually honest person or somebody who's actually observed the large amount of evidence that there is for this. Yes, okay, sure, your grandma telling you that you can smoke packs of cigarettes a day and live to 100, that's an anecdote not really worth thinking too much about. But when you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people all over the world constantly, all the damn time, and they just keep coming, there's more and more every single day that keep saying the same fucking thing, you're a moron to disregard their anecdotes. Absolutely. So when I see comments like that from people who say, oh, it's just anecdotes, blah, 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 observational trials and fucking population data is better, I can't help but think you're a moron. Leave your questions and comments down below. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you on the next video.